Average Guys show. We got, and it picked right up on YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube. Hey, Marcella. Thanks for being our audience.
She's been sitting up there waiting for us to get on, so she doesn't have to go to bed. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Feel free to comment if you'd like, and we'll try to. I think that on YouTube I have allowed the chat to work. There goes my phone again.
I'm going to see if I can pull up the YouTube. Go ahead and tell us what's going on, Jimmy.
Well, what's going on is I can't see Dan, and Darcy disappeared, but now he's back.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with this.
I think we're going to have minor technical issues for the remainder of the evening.
Maybe major technical issues.
Could be major, but, whatever.
All right.
Because you still can't see me, correct, Jimmy?
That is correct.
I can hear you, but you're froze up on my screen.
You still correct, Jimmy?
That is correct.
You know what? So here's something interesting.
Now I'm hearing myself and everyone else again.
So
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Dan. But
when I turned on YouTube, it cut my earbuds out.
So here's something funny. On YouTube, I can look over here at the YouTube screen, and Dan is live, and I can see him moving. But on my studio here, it's froze up, and it has been for 5 minutes. No, I guess not 5 minutes. We haven't been.
Maybe I'll go back and watch this episode on YouTube so I can see what Dan looks like.
Sounds good. Oh my. So we're like 10 seconds behind on the YouTube. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, YouTube is giving me a notification that says excellent connection.
Well, I'm glad someone thinks that.
Yeah. How about my audio now? Is it better? Am I louder?
Yes, way better.
Problematic. Labor is super excessive. We control the concrete.
Cool.
That was weird.
What are we doing now?
I don't know. Dan, are you just listening to are you just watching YouTube videos now? It's going to take 10 seconds for him to listen to it on YouTube.
He's learning how to pour concrete.
Yeah. So I can say something right now. Hey, Dan, how are you doing? And now 10 seconds. He's not going to hear it until right here. He should be starting to hear it.
Well, I am not hearing anything out of Dan.
No, me either. I don't know what's going on. Boy, this is.
Do you still see him?
So yeah. So the funny thing is on my phone he's been frozen for 4 or 5 minutes, but on YouTube I can look over here and see the stream on YouTube, and I can see him. Like he's moving around. So Riverside is feeding YouTube, but it's not feeding itself, basically.
Nice. Well, this should make for
okay. So
interesting evening.
it's the same thing with you. I can see you're froze up on my phone screen too. I just realized that. But on YouTube, I can see you moving around.
Interesting.
Dan, can you hear anything that's going on? Nod your head
Blink,
if you can hear
blink
me.
once for yes, blink twice for no.
Okay,
Well.
here we go. All right.
See anything out of Dan yet?
How about that?
Whoa, I hear Dan.
Can you hear me now?
I just heard Dan.
Oh, no.
Darcy's completely gone.
Now I can
Now he's
hear
back.
you again, Dan.
Oh, there's Darcy.
Ah,
Dan, where did you go?
I was here the whole time. I was watching you guys make fun of me the whole time.
Did you hear us on YouTube?
So what happened is I flipped over to YouTube and my laptop, microphone, and everything took over. So I had no ears except for through YouTube. So I was on this massive loop delay. So then I hit
delay. We're
mute.
10 seconds different.
And it took all of that time for me to close out all the windows. When I closed that YouTube window, some other YouTube window with some concrete thing I've been watching turned on.
Yeah, we heard that.
It was a cluster. Did you hear that?
Yeah, we heard you learning how to pour concrete.
Monoslab EZ. Probably been on my browser for a week.
That was fun, guys.
Well, it was great. I'm sure that's great entertainment for the world.
Oh, you kidding me?
For the two people that are watching.
Okay. I think I'm back.
There's two people?
I hear you. I don't know. I can't tell. I can only see me these days on this thing. I can hear Dan. I cannot see Dan. I can't see or hear Darcy.
It's so bad tonight.
This is the worst ever. Are we even doing anything right now?
Action. So Jimmy, can you see me or hear me?
I hear
or anything.
Hear you, Dan.
Okay. So you can't see the face that I'm making.
No, it's black.
Great. Darcy's gone. I think he just left us.
I think he's like, you know what? This is dumb. I'm out. But those two dudes figured out.
This technology thing is just not my cup of tea. Dude. So since he's not there and we're basically stranded here on YouTube with no way of getting out of the matrix. Did we talk about AI last week?
I believe we talked. I believe we did talk about AI. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been goofing around with AI art generation for several days now, and like learning how to get it. Like they say that it's natural language prompts, but it's really not as simple as that, because the natural language that you and I use to describe something is rarely enough detailed information for it to get close to what you're thinking of. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So what I learned is that you go to one AI and you tell that AI in kind of more general, specific terms, but not super detailed, what you want that AI to make a prompt, and you tell it, you're telling me a prompt to give to this other AI. And then it uses what you say, and it generates a much more detailed spread, like a whole storyboard of it. And then you go through that and you edit the things you want in it, and you put in and you take out things, right? And then you take that to the other AI and feed that into the visual, the graphic AI, and it will make some incredible stuff, which I'd love to show you, except you can't see me.
Oh, there's Darcy.
But there are some odd things. Hey.
I just restarted my phone.
Now you're side. I got you, Darcy, but you're sideways on my end.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
There you go. Oh.
Now you're sideways again.
In the world. All right.
Hey, I'd rather see you sideways than not see you at all.
Bye, Darcy.
He gone again. So there's multiple levels of AI intelligence, basically.
There's
okay.
There's a programming language for it, even though it's supposed to be a natural language communication. It is natural language, but there are still programming hacks that you can use to make it do better things. And like one of the things that I've been working on was an image. Do you know what Darcy and I talked about this the other day. Do you know what the concept of a barter blanket is?
No.
So we'll go back to the barter blanket in a second, because Darcy and I were going to talk more about how the rules might work on a barter blanket. But the idea is, like in the American West, colonial era, there wasn't really money on the frontier, and any money that you brought would be from some other country. So there was not really like anything but gold, beads, guns, knives, hatchets, furs to trade. And so what they would do is they would lay out a big blanket, and then you would put your things on the blanket, and you would barter the things that are on the blanket or what's on the table for the barter. And people would try to figure out, okay, if I leave this much, if I put this much of your goods over here, and then some third person might even come in and say, well, I'll give him that if you'll give me that, and we'll like make a three-way exchange. And so like the idea of a barter blanket is a moneyless exchange of value for value, right?
Yep.
So I was trying to create the image of a barter blanket for the like heading for this section on the guild. And the AI does not seem to, be able to make a picture of an Indian without a massive headdress, like enormous headdress.
Nice.
And I keep being like, do not put the native, any way that I can say it, do not have the Native American, the Indigenous American, the Indian, do not have him be wearing a headdress. Have him be dressed like a brave or a warrior or something like that. And so like the image is supposed to be of just like an Indian who could feasibly just be like traveling across the plains doing a barter with a fur trapper and a settler. It doesn't have I can't figure out how to get it to not do this Indian with this enormous headdress, like ceremonial headdress. And my guess is that despite the fact that they say that AI can like come up with all these abstract things, if all it has to go off of for that picture or that setting is existing art, it basically is copying existing art on the concept of a barter blanket. And that's how it gets really close to what your concept is, because it may have seen 100 pieces of art, depicting that scene. And so it can like mix and match all the components and the elements, but it can't seem to, like, one thing, it can't put something in the scene that wouldn't have been in the scene in that day. I've tried over and over to get it to put like a modern sporting rifle in the scene. It can't. I've tried to get it to erase the Indian like completely. I'm like, okay, scratch that. Just let's do trappers. No, it puts a trapper with a headdress. Like, it doesn't seem to be able to figure that part out. But if you say, imagine a whale with sourdough bread for skin, it can do that.
Interesting.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think that'd be more abstract, like weird, like harder, wouldn't you think? But it can come up with a darn good picture of sourdough whale. Just not an Indian with a headdress.
Well, it's probably scared it might offend some Native American culture somewheres.
That is actually possible. You're correct. It will, the DALL-E 3 will not create. What?
But I thought that was stereotyping. I'm surprised that it is doing it with a headdress.
Like I said, like the rules are upside down and backward. Because I would be like, not being able to generate an Indian without a huge headdress is stereotyping for sure. But maybe I don't know. There's some rule set that they created. It's not completely on its own, because it cannot create a picture of Jesus in the final week of his life. It doesn't allow it to. It said that it will not generate images of religious figures, especially those in what would it be considered like it won't create a picture of the crucifixion.
Okay, so you're saying it won't create images of religious figures?
Like in the Passion, it will not do that. If you say that you would, if you'd like a statue of Jesus drawing in the sand, it'll give you a statue of Jesus with sand up to his chest, drawing in it. Or or some, like, sometimes it'll do that, or sometimes he'll be down, like in the story, he'll be drawing in the sand, but it won't do like a crucifixion scene, because it would be considered to be potentially distasteful, or I kind of get that, because I could imagine some guy being like, depict this scene and using words that are not ideal, and it comes up with some bizarre crucifixion scene that's sacrilegious. I guess I can get that, but But if you're an Indian, you wear a headdress. That's what I know for sure.
Unless you go to the Chiefs game, then you're not supposed to.
Well, there's that. Well, the other thing that is interesting is it doesn't seem to want to depict weapons, like AR-15 type of thing, because I've been playing around with it. But if you tell it to generate a picture of an airsoft player, he will have an AR-15.
Nice.
So, anyway. So what do you got, Darcy? I've been yapping because you were figuring out technical details.
Yeah, I don't know if I've figured it out yet, but I don't know. Well, okay, so my one homework that you gave me last week that I didn't do because I didn't get Jimmy signed up for the Kinsman Guild. But my other homework that you gave me, I don't know, when was that? 2 days ago? Watching old Tanner Guzzi.
Oh yeah.
I was doing a little bit of that tonight. So we can talk about that style and such.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you have any opinion right off the bat? How many hours of Tanner Guzzi have you consumed at this point?
Oh, like 40 minutes.
40 minutes? Okay, that's probably enough.
Yeah, I think I have a few opinions. Well, definitely I have opinions on style. And then I also have probably a little bit of opinion on his take. Because I don't know, like he's coming at it from, it looks like he owns a like suit shop type of a place, potentially. Like he's a stylist and style coach, I believe. Is that am I right on that?
That is.
Yeah, explain
That's
to me
my
who this guy
understanding,
is.
yeah.
I don't know who we're talking about.
Image coach. So Dan sent me a link to a dude named Tanner Guzzi. Is it Guzzi or Goozy?
Guzzi.
You know, Dan?
Tanner Guzzi. Yeah.
Who is just like I guess he owns a shop that sells basically business wear, it looks like. I don't know what all he sells in his shop. His website isn't really for that. It's for his like style consulting.
Right.
But and then he does, apparently I was just watching some different things he has on YouTube, and apparently he does, seminars or something where he's talking about style and image, and he breaks it down to 3 archetypes, is what he says. There's 3 archetypes of style, and they are rugged, refined, and rakish.
What was that last one?
Rakish.
Rakish.
So that means like kind of out there, like
rebellious almost.
Yeah, a rebel. He like on one of his things that he on one of his slide presentations, when he's given examples, he's got Kanye West is the example for rakish, because his style is intended to polarize, intended to like be not like anybody else. And then he said, Tanner says, generally you're not solely one of any of the 3, but generally there's a primary with the other 2 factoring in. Hang on, Anna just pulled in and she's like sitting in the driveway. So I'm gonna tell her she's fine to come in, and then maybe I will cut this out.
Not on the live YouTube.
No, not on the live YouTube. Anyway, so, and then he has a archetype quiz on his website. So I took that.
Did you take it?
I did, yeah.
You got rakish.
Absolutely.
I took it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like
you got
Kanye.
rakish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that what you got? Huh?
No. I didn't get
You got
one.
refined.
They were. No, I got rugged for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Why? How would I get? Wait, what? I would. You didn't get rakish?
I got rugged.
What?
I did.
No. What?
So here's
No
the
way.
So,
Rugged?
You?
Something's not adding up here.
You? Wait, what?
Dude, what did you put into your AI generator to generate that picture of me?
A picture of you. I put a picture of you. Can you see me, Jimmy?
No.
You still can't see me. Turn on the YouTube.
So the thing about his 3 archetypes is I think that they are the 3 desirable archetypes. I think that there are others because he talks about
there's slobs.
Yeah, that's his main thing is he talks about the unfortunate default to the way he says it is default to comfort all the time. And
that would be like Adam Sandler.
Well,
like
so
if you've ever watched Adam Sandler just like around town, it's gym shorts, t-shirt, sweatpants, pretty much it. Yeah. You never see the guy, around in anything except for basketball jersey and clothes. I was trying to figure out if I could just go live on my phone on the guild, or if that would. I can. I should.
Like you can put this on the guild?
Well, I'm seeing if I can put this, but I think all I can do is I can just go live. I hit live, but then the guild will hear 1/3 of this conversation. That'll be awesome.
I've done that before.
They might not even hear that much.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a little surprised that you didn't have I don't remember. It's been a month since I took the quiz, but the rakish, maybe when you were younger you would have categorized as rakish, because I think the way that he would say it is that it's like a little bit more of a disruptive style.
Yes.
And it's not like it's the ability to be almost rebellious in your style, but it's still appropriate for the setting.
Yes.
Whereas a rugged tends to be maybe underdressed for a lot of occasions.
I don't think that that's how he defines rugged, because his I don't know this guy, but his example in his presentation for the rugged man is like this this bodybuilder biker guy who's, I mean, just a super bad dude looking guy. Like he's wearing his motorcycle club leather and he's all patched up and he's got tats and he's bald and big beard and he's got he's a homesteader and builds things. He's probably like an iron worker or something. I don't know. He's this massive, rough looking dude. And that's his rugged.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not that.
Right.
But neither are you, and you got rugged.
You're not what?
Yeah, because I probably got rugged.
Like that guy.
I mean, it's obviously it's how you answer the questions, but like, I don't currently have a suit. I can't be refined. I literally went to a funeral and was literally looking through my closet thinking, I really wish that I had a suit that, like, not a suit from college. I felt like it would be an appropriate time to be wearing a nice, correctly fitting suit just because of the person whose funeral it was. In fact, it's interesting, John, whose funeral I was going to and I was wishing I had a suit. I never saw him in a suit, but he had he was a farmer and he had a spread of his farming clothes. He had about 5 days of farming clothes and they were exactly the same.
Yes.
The same bibs, the same shirt, the same t-shirt, everything. When he basically wore a uniform to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had like a variety of clothes he wore to church, and it's more like a rural country church. So it wasn't like he was wearing a 3-piece suit to church every Sunday or anything like that. But despite the fact that he was a farmer, he was still like a well-dressed guy. And I was like, man, I wish I had a suit to wear to his funeral.
So Tanner says that's context factoring in. So you are your style, but you fit it to the context and to your lifestyle. And so one of the things that I appreciated about his philosophy is he said multiple times, your style needs to fit your life, not the other way around. You don't want to try to change your lifestyle to fit your aesthetic style, because that'll get old real fast.
That makes sense. Right. I guess the reason that I would have put you a little bit more on the rakish is because your clothing choices are purposeful, but rarely, what would you call that? They're rarely
something he picked out.
Like straight laced. Like they're rarely like the. Wait, they're rarely something you picked out? Is that true? You don't pick your clothes? I never would have guessed that.
I do wear a lot of hand-me-downs lately.
Oh yeah, from Eric?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Case in point.
Best clothing to get right there.
Speaking of who is I was going to ask you who's on your hat.
Logan Mize.
I don't know that.
He's a country singer from Kansas. He's pretty fun. I've seen him a couple times, I think. He hit probably his most played song, most requested for sure. He says, well, This is my most requested song, and it's also the stupidest song I ever wrote.
That's why
But
people like it.
It's called El Camino. It's pretty fun. Check it out.
Wait, I've heard that. I think, unless there's more than one.
I don't know.
I think so.
It's fun.
What about you, Jimmy? What's your style? I'm gonna do something for Jimmy on Chat GPT and send it to him. And you guys go ahead for a second.
Okay. Yeah, Jimmy.
My style? Well, I didn't take.
Do you have an idea of?
Based on what I heard you guys talking about, I feel like I would probably fall into that rugged category as well, but I'm not sure because obviously I haven't taken the test, but I don't know. Like I tend to not ever dress up, but I did recently I purchased 2 nice for me shirts because I had a couple of weddings coming up that I needed to go to. And like I didn't think a flannel shirt would be the right shirt to wear. And so
but then you paired them with sneakers, right?
Correct.
And got called out on it.
I got called out on it by the guy from
India,
Bermuda.
From the guy from Bermuda.
Yeah. And you paired it with sneakers. But yeah, so I went to that clothing store down in Scottsdale and bought a couple fancy shirts. Wore them to the reception, and then I've been to 2 weddings since then, and I got to use both of them. So
nice.
Yeah, jeans and sneakers, and a somewhat nice shirt.
Yeah.
So I don't know what category that would fall into, but so I don't know. You tell me. You know what the guy says, and you know me pretty well.
Yeah. So, Guy for sure would classify, I think, you and me and Dan as rugged. And the kind of one of the things that I noticed in his quiz and stuff is that like he asks multiple questions about what you do. So
what you do has a big part in defining what style you are.
There's a guy that works in a cubicle that this quiz would struggle with, because if he like wore the same clothes as me but did different things, then potentially he would be rakish because he would be looking like me in the wrong setting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I did like some of his like tips on like fit of clothing. I wear large clothes, and I could probably have better fitting clothes that I still would be comfortable in a little bit, but I get my clothes for free, so
you don't pick the style or the color, or I mean the style or the size.
Right.
When I went to that
I was gonna
place in Scottsdale, these guys are like serious about it. They're like making sure it fits me just right, making sure the collar size is right, making sure the arm length is right, making sure that it fits the chest right. And I was like, I don't know, like
once you put one on, let us see it.
Right buttons.
How many buttons did they have you undo?
So the top 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything else needs to be buttoned up.
Tanner says, absolutely do not button it all the way to the top or you're going to look like a toddler.
Yeah. Or a Mexican gangster.
Yeah.
Unbuttoned or untucked, buttoned all the way to the top. I just sent you a image, Jimmy, that I just created for you while you guys were talking.
Wow. Dang, I look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, I see you again.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's all it took. Me sending you a little love note.
Yeah, that's so AI did that, huh?
I did that, Jimmy. I'm an artist.
So you just took a picture. You sent a picture of me to the AI and it created.
No. I described you to it.
Oh, you described me. Okay.
Yeah. I described you, and I said, I want you to make a shield that represents my friend Jimmy. Use his name, the meaning of his name, and the fact that he has a huge beard to design the features on the shield. And then it spit out a prompt. And then I took that prompt and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that'll work. Some swords, big old beard, supplanter. Did you know your name means supplanter?
No. I like the swords, though.
I guess.
Jimmy means supplanter.
According to AI, Jimmy means supplanter.
In what language?
You didn't know that? I don't know.
So I would probably.
Well, it's not Jimmy. Okay, James, is that technically your name or not?
Yes.
James means supplanter or holder of the heel. Comes from the Hebrew name Jacob.
Dude. Jacob. James doesn't come from Jacob. Does it?
Dude,
I mean,
I don't know. Is this what the AI is telling you?
No, that's just what like Wikipedia is telling me.
Okay. James.
It also means may God protect. May God protect.
I can believe
But that was evidently the most. That was evidently the. I mean, people name their kid Jacob. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, but that's like 2 completely different names.
Yeah, but I mean, if they mean the same thing, then I'm just saying, like, what do you think it meant?
I had no idea. I just thought it meant I was named after my dad and my grandpa.
But so here's the interesting thing to me on that. So Jacob is the supplanter. I mean, he was born after Esau and he was grabbing onto Esau's heel. But James is also a biblical name. Like, it's not like Jacob over the last 600 years turned into James. Like, James is a different name than Jacob, isn't it? Or is James? Huh?
According to, again, other sources on the internet, James also means replacer or supplanter.
Interesting. That's why we do this, to learn these kind of things.
Yeah, we learn all kinds of neat things. Anyway, I didn't mean to make you feel bad, but I thought that the image turned out pretty nice.
No, you didn't make me feel bad at all, and I did like the image. That's pretty cool.
See if I can get it onto YouTube.
I'm going to use it.
There's no. It's pretty good.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm going to use it. I'm going to put it on something.
Looks like you're also like they also stole the Ferrari symbol for right above your head.
Oh.
No. Okay, so I've got another subject that's on. It's kind of on point with this clothing thing, and it's about personal brand.
Okay.
And whether you think that you have a personal brand, and whether you think that it is well integrated, meaning, so everybody has. Essentially, they have infinite versions of themselves. It's like a multiverse. So you have the version of yourself that you think is like the ideal version of yourself, who you would like to imagine yourself to be. You have the person that you are actually, and then you have the person that other people perceive you to be. And that's like also kind of an infinite, like there's millions of people and you could have interacted with any one of them in a different way. Obviously, most of them don't know you. But do you think it's an important thing to be conscious of your personal brand? And do you think your personal brand is well integrated? There you go. Is that too much information for one question?
So give us an example of your personal brand.
So my personal brand, I think that if I was to it's easier for me to think of things that are not consistent than things that are like ideal. I think people think of me as being very reliable, and I don't necessarily think of myself as being extremely reliable. I think that like use a text message as an example. Somebody sends me a text message. I am only about 50%, 30%, 20% likely to respond to a text message. Because I feel like when someone, and this is kind of a side subject to personal brand, I feel that when someone texts you, their thing, whatever it is not a 10. If it was important, they would say, it is important that you contact me back, even if it was important to them. That's the way I see it. Does that make sense? But like, if someone gets a hold of me and I say I will do something, I will end up doing it. Sometimes begrudgingly, because I have a hard time saying no. So I would like my personal brand to be more, I would like to be perceived as being more forceful about doing what I think needs to be done and less accommodating. But I would like it to be in a good way, but I don't know how to strike that balance. Does that make sense? Like, as a personal brand, like, I would like someone to think, I want to get on board with what he's doing, not currently my personal brand is I can call him and he will take care of whatever is important to me.
Okay.
Does that, I don't know. I think that's a personal brand that I've accidentally created. So I've created a scenario where people call me to get me to take care of things that are important to them. Not very many people call me to say like, "Oh, I saw that you had this really important thing going on and I want to be part of it."
Yeah.
And I would like to change that. I would like, like, for instance, I'm guessing that your boss, because of the kind of job that he has and stuff, has among people who know him a personal brand that's more like what I described wanting to have than the other, because they know that his time is valuable and they know that he's got better things to do, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he has people who buffer, to prevent him from overcommitting too, which I do not.
You should maybe start routing all of your phone calls through Sarah.
Oh, she would love that. She would just love that.
Hey, Sarah, I think
Maybe I should.
you're going to be my agent.
I think I want to route them all through Jimmy.
Oh,
So, like on
yeah.
a totally unrelated type of personal brand, I think that at this point in Jimmy's life, the beard is part of his brand.
For sure.
And although he said he would, like years ago, I think you said you would shave the beard when you went to Hawaii again. I don't think you can do that. I think that you've committed 20 years to this brand, and it would be absurd to give up on it.
And I don't know that I ever said that exact thing. I said I might.
Okay.
I never made it. I never promised I would do that. And that would have been, I would have said that a long time ago before we got to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what do you think about, what about you? What's your personal brand?
Is my
What
is my beard?
What do you think yours is?
Am I
Like,
too far
if you
into
get,
it
you
to ever
give,
shave mine now?
no, because you're like, one day I walk up to you and you don't have a mustache. Like,
Yeah.
like,
And then
yeah,
3 days
I
later,
don't
you
think
got
that 3 days later you have two beards. And I'm like, what in the world is
So-
going on?
I think that I have a. I think that people perceive me as more, I can't think of the word. I don't know. I'm struggling here.
It's hard. It is hard to know how you are perceived in actual reality. That is difficult.
Yeah.
But there's it is possible to integrate how you are with how you perceive yourself. I think, like I one of the things that I think that I have to start kind of embracing about myself in reality is that I'm actually a really good technician. And I can get good at doing things much quicker than I can get good at like managing people to do them. And there has to be a way to, like, instead of always thinking like, oh, I need to move away from being a technician and manage people more, there's got to be a way to leverage that for something more productive versus trying to deny that is a reality, and just integrate that into myself instead of trying not to be a technician. I don't know. Does that make sense?
So you would like to move away from rugged toward refined?
Maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think that I need to figure out how to leverage the ruggedness. I've been in a lot of circles where I was the most rugged guy, and I was like, man, you guys, I feel bad for you. I really do.
What was that? Say that again.
I've been in a number of circles, like groups of friends, where I was the most rugged guy. And I always feel bad for those guys because I think I'm nowhere near the most ruggedest guy that I've met by any stretch. I'm basically a preppy type of guy compared to most of the rugged men that I know. I mean,
I feel like I'm surrounded by me being the most rugged person in the group most of the time, unless I'm with Darcy.
so what's your okay? What do you think is your personal brand? There we go. I'm just gonna. What do you think? Not trying to think of all of the different viewpoints. What do you view yourself as, branding wise? Or do you even think that it's important?
Talking to me or Darcy?
Whoever wants to answer.
I don't know. I feel like it's probably somewhat important. Honest. I've heard people say like, that like I'm a family man, whatever that means.
Not your average guy.
Yeah, like they think it's fun that I spend time with my family and make that a priority. So I feel like that could be a part of my brand. I like to travel, take my wife and kids with me and do fun stuff. And that's probably part of my brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think those are true.
So I don't know.
Yeah. A guy with a good taste in watches.
I'm trying to be
Would that be
guy.
Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy. Show him your new watch, Jimmy.
Well, he was showing it off a little bit ago, and I was going to ask about it, but
yeah,
I'm trying to get into the watch game, and I did buy one. So
I think it's.
Have you been watching those watch traders? Do you watch the watch traders on Instagram and TikTok?
I've seen some of them. Yeah, where like in New York, where they're going around like buying a watch and selling a watch. Yeah,
buying and selling and wheeling and dealing.
I mean, they're dealing with stuff that's in the $20,000 to $80,000 range. That's a whole different thing. This one was not that much.
Wasn't that much? How much was it? Can you say?
I can say. So I paid $830 for it.
Okay. So for the brand, etc., is that expensive for the brand, or is that like on par? What's the
is kind of a mid price range in that brand. In that brand, you can get I think maybe as low as like $400 or $500, and as much as like close to $3,000, something like that.
So in the watch game, I'm not in the watch game. I don't wear a watch. I was wearing a what is it, like a Garmin type watch. But I bang them up all the time working, so I end up taking them off, leaving them in the truck while I'm working, and I don't end up putting it back on. And and this is just kind of like a side note on watches. When my father died, my mother, hey mom, she had recently burned down her house, or their house. And so there really wasn't much.
Yes, she had.
There wasn't much stuff left. Like there was not much that my dad could like hand down, like that could be like given to his sons, his daughters, his grandkids. And one of the few things was one of the newer fishing poles that he had gotten, and it wasn't anything special. And Asa used it, and I think the reel died on it like the next year, and it got me thinking. So part of the issue was that like his guns and stuff burned up in this fire. So that stuff was gone. Like all the guns, like he had this little Browning 22 that I just like loved as a kid. It was like one of the original Buckmark pistols. He had a 30-06, which I really need to go and see if the guy who's supposedly refurbishing it has finished it and get it back.
Dan, can I just say right now, you have a bad track record with getting guns back from where you need to give me the phone number for the guy that has the 30-06 because he probably thinks it's his now.
Well, he had a pile of them though that he was working on.
Was this a gun that was in the fire?
It was in the fire, but I cleaned it up immediately, washed it down, oiled it. I think it was going to survive. The scope was shot, but the gun was in good shape, or could be in good shape. Yeah.
You need to call that guy tomorrow.
Yeah. That's true. I'm going to be out there within like 10 minutes of him anyway, so I might as well. Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in Knob Noster. Yeah.
Is this somebody that you know?
It's a guy that I kind of know through Jerry. Okay. Yeah. I also need to get those two guns
Jerry.
From your guy. Yeah, he's probably he probably did. So here's back on subject because we're an hour into this thing and we haven't even gotten to anything yet. I don't know what we're trying to get to.
All technical difficulties.
That's true. Okay, so after that, and I think about it less and less as the years go by because it's been 2 years now. But after that, I thought I want to get 4 valuable things. Just 4 of them. One for each of my kids. A genuinely valuable thing that is either like a watch or could fit. I don't know if you can see this. Something that could fit in a box that size, but it has real value and that I like. And I would like to be at a point where I would think $5,000 to $10,000 per each of those items was like, like a good price point. And I think a couple of watches could be the 2 of them. I don't know what the other items would be for my daughters, but
watches.
It's just odd that none of the stuff. It's not odd because my dad didn't buy nice stuff, but it's just one of those things where you're like, man, it'd be nice if I had something physically, something existed that was my dad's that I like. That's valuable.
That is why I wanted to get into the watch game because that's exactly why my main reason for wanting to get a watch is to be able to give it to my kids someday. I don't know if this will be the watch because it's I don't know how long it'll last, but eventually I'd like to get something nicer and be able to hand it down.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm not really like super. And the thing is, the other side of it is like, I want it to be something that not just the dollar value. I want it to be something that I really like, genuinely like. And, that's about the only thing that I can think of that's like, has that kind of like pizzazz to it or something. Right. Like you can, like a nice knife is cool, but like you want to use it in a different way and it doesn't stay nice like that. Like I mean, like a nice little case knife or something like that. It's cool to get from your grandpa, but it's not really like valuable. I mean, it's rarely anyway.
But I think you're going. I think you're off. I think you're off on this.
Okay.
because
Okay.
what is going to mean more? What would mean more to you? A pocket knife that you're like right now, a pocket knife that your dad carried and used and is a little bit worn out, but he carried it and used it for 10 years, or a watch that he bought and put in a box and just had. Like, what's the difference in, like, you say you want it to have some value, but there's, if you go buy a watch, you don't wear watches. I mean, if you say I'm going to start wearing watches,
I might someday.
but you don't.
Yeah, I might.
And I don't, I'm not going to say that you never will, but I probably will be a little bit surprised if you just turn into a watch guy. So
Yeah.
that's basically just go get $5,000 in silver and stick it in each box.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because a watch,
I think that,
like my grandpa, I was supposed to have gotten a watch from my grandpa, and I didn't. And I'm bummed that I didn't. But the watch would have been worth about, he probably would have paid, I don't know, $60 for it in the 50s, maybe. But he wore it for 60 years. And
yeah,
that was the value. The value was that it was actually one of his like valued possessions, not that it was worth a lot of money.
So there's some of the issue with the value is tied up in the exact nature of my dad's life and behavior, that he didn't think about procuring something that was worth passing down. Like his parents were like Depression era junk collector type people, and they pretended, all the brothers pretended like there was some valuable stuff that, you know what I mean? Like, well, that 30 carbine is, you know, that's valuable. That was a 1906 30 carbine. It's like, yeah, it's a $600 rifle. Like, get over it, guys. Like you guys fought over this like it was valuable, but your parents didn't procure anything valuable to hand down to you in reality. Does that make sense? And so like I want, like, one of the things I've thought about would be like a really nice fly fishing rod, like, because that would be very par for me. But I don't know if I would use a $1,000 or $2,000 fly fishing rod. I would feel too like I'm going to break this thing, you know. Maybe when I get older and money is not an issue, I do that, and that's one of the things. But there is a part of it that for me is like just that. There's a number of things that Dad used all the time, but they were not procured for the fact that they were valuable at all. They were 100% practical, 0% like I don't know. Does that make sense? They just weren't, like his wedding ring. That was valuable. My brother got it, I think.
I got a few things from my grandpa when he died, and one of them was a watch, and it's this cheap Timex, probably $10 watch.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I love it because he wore it every day. I wear it sometimes just because
Just
too
because.
big for me. It flops around. But he wore it all the time. He looked at it to see what time it was. And it's fun. And it's not worth anything. And then I also have his knife that he carried with him every day. Little buck knife with blades all worn down. Nothing even left on him anymore. But super cool because he carried it with him every day. 2 items that are worth, $20.
I've been using my dad's tools, and they're all breaking 2 years later. And every time one of them breaks, I'm just like chuckling because I'm just like, of course it would be breaking already. Because it was on the like dollar shelf at Menards.
Right.
Yeah, there's something, it's maybe a personal issue, but it's like a little bit of a, not irritation at him, but just kind of like it's something personal about the fact that nothing was worth holding on to.
Here is something that I think would be.
I don't want to be perceived that way. That's the thing. I don't want to, and maybe my kids won't perceive me that way, but I don't want to be. Yeah.
Here's an item that I think would fit you, would be like natural. It wouldn't be you trying to like create an heirloom. A guitar. You have, although you need to start playing again. You do have.
That's true.
A nice guitar.
I do have a real nice guitar.
And
that's true.
And that
that'd be one of the items. I'm never selling that.
Yeah, that is an item that your offspring will cherish. Because it was actually like,
if I start playing it again.
Well, but here's the thing is that you bought it for you. You didn't buy it in order to have it for someone someday.
Right.
And that
so that would be right. That would be one difference of an item that is kind of timeless. And I actually have one of that. I have the 300 Weatherby that, as long as I tell the story enough times about winning it, could be another like valuable keepsake type of item. And by the time my kids are this age, it'd cost them $50 a round to shoot it. So I don't feel like that's necessarily like the thing,
No.
I
mean, but you have your own Buckmark pistol.
That's true.
That you love. And that potentially will be a prized
as long as my wife
doesn't at some point.
As long as my house doesn't get burned down. Yeah.
You have a safe.
That's true.
Your dad had a closet.
Yeah. Everything, all of his stuff ended up in the basement.
Your dad had a nook behind the hot water heater in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You remember that? Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know what the item is. I think of watches. I think of like jewelry, but I'm not a jewelry wearer. I'm probably far more likely to start wearing a watch at some point than any other kind of jewelry item. And then I also have the funny one, which is like, I think we can talk openly about our wife's side of the family. There's that super valuable. There's the super valuable cello, and
that's gone, dude.
No, it's not. It's loaned out. It's loaned out to that kid that's playing it for whatever. And it doesn't matter.
It,
no.
You know that for
it's
sure?
way too valuable. I know my wife thinks that it's not sold.
Okay.
But it doesn't, it's like, it doesn't seem to matter how many times she's like, I would like the cello. They're like, well, you don't even play the cello. And it's like, it's quite literally not even the point. Like, she's always wanted the cello. She would have rather played the cello when they had her playing whatever horn they had her playing or whatever. But grandma was playing the cello at the time. And it's like, I don't want it to be like that, where it's something where it's like, well, there's a lot of money and maybe potentially a lot of money in this thing. It's like, I don't want it to be that kind of valuable. I want it to be the, like, this is a cherished item. Like, that's something that my wife would have on display in our house for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she remembers her grandma playing the cello whenever she was a kid all the time. And, you know, but she will never get the cello. I don't think. They'd rather give it to that kid.
Yeah.
I don't know the kid. I don't have anything against the kid, but if my kid was borrowing a cello and then somebody said that cello is worth potentially multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'd be like, give it back. We are absolutely never taking responsibility for that sucker again, ever.
Yeah,
we're never. No, ain't happening.
Oh man.
So you know the story on the cello, Jimmy.
I feel
Sarah's
like
grandma
I've heard something about it.
Has this cello that they went to work on it, and they're like, "Whoa, this thing's like, well, it's like 400 years old or something." It's like,
I don't know.
Super duper old, like really old. They can't even figure out like who made it or anything, but they're pretty sure that it's a like a early copy of a, I don't know, famous well-made cello. Like it's like a exact replica of this really well-made cello. And kid was just like hauling it to band camp or whatever. I don't know.
How long has he had it?
So, I don't know if it's a he or she. I don't know anything about. I don't know. I just know that it was like, oh, that's valuable. Oh crap! She got it for like $100. Like, well, like 60 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Which was money, which was real money then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's about all I got. So.
All right. Well, call it.
Sure. We got to figure out these technical difficulties for future reference,
dude,
by the way.
That was rough.
I've had a really hard time hearing either one of you guys the last 5-10 minutes.
Really?
Bummer.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was my end or your end, but
is mine the same?
At
like
the moment,
that crackly electronic sounding?
At the moment, both
it
of you
all
guys
sounds
are good.
fine on this end. Weird.
All right.
Maybe it's not me, Darcy.
Maybe not. It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me. All right.
All right, Dan.
So we're signing off.
Yeah, okay. Go buy a watch.
Go buy a watch.
Yeah.
Call the gun guy.
Yes.
Call the gun guy.
I'm gonna call you tomorrow and ask you if you called at least one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you should just never mind. We don't have to talk about this.
I know. All right.
All right. See ya.
Thanks for joining.